Down with this sort of thing. Careful now.
What is up everybody and welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to take a look at my team for Game Week 3. Game Week 2 was far from ideal as it saw my team return with a miserable 39 points. I'm hoping to pick up some momentum in Game Week 3 and hopefully get my first green arrow at the 23-24 season. So without further ado, let's get into it. After a disappointing 2-pointer from Turner in Game Week 2, Onana makes his way back into the squad with a great fixture against Forest at home. Whilst United do not look great at all, you could expect them to be able to keep a clean sheet against Forest. This expectation is reflected in the predicted clean sheet chances for Game Week 3, as United sit 4th with a 44.5% chance keeping out Forest. Forest do offer attacking threat, but I'm expecting United to be able to neutralise it, especially at Old Trafford. Moving on to the defence, it is Chilwell who starts for the third game week in a row as Chelsea face off against Luton at Stamford Bridge. Whilst on paper, Luton at home is arguably the easiest fixture you can have all season, my pessimistic Chelsea fan side can't help but expect a last minute Ross Barkley winner for Luton. That aside, Chilwell is a great option this week. He almost seemed to be playing left wing during Chelsea's loss to West Ham, which is great news for us owners. However, I do hope he starts to turn his chances into points sooner rather than later. Gabriel is the next starting player in the team, but it's very likely that he will make way this week due to his lack of minutes within the Arsenal starting 11. Guardiola is currently my only shining light as he topped off Game Week 2 with a nice return of 6 points. With Laporte leaving City and Diaz and Stones being injured, Guardiola should have his place locked down in the squad, having played both the Super Cup and Game Week 2. I can't see City spending so much on Guardiola only to use him as a rotation player. At 5 million, Guardiola is arguably the best City defender to own. Moving on to the midfield, where we have no changes from our Game Week 2 lineup. The Arsenal duo Martinelli and Saka line up together yet again after a disappointing display in Game Week 2. West Palace away isn't an easy fixture. I was disappointed to see neither assets involved in the Arsenal goal. An important note for Saka owners is that the England man seems to be off penalties, with Odegaard now taking over the responsibility. Whilst this may not be of massive concern to most, it may create an opening for me to sell one of my two Arsenal mids in order to get someone like Diaz in. Matoma, who is arguably the most informed player in the Premier League, currently makes it 3 starts in a row after a 12-point haul in Game Week 2. Matoma's ability to gather points out of nothing is why he's such a great FPL asset. With Brighton facing West Ham, who have a 12% chance of keeping the Seagulls out, it's likely to be a great week for us Matoma owners. The last midfielder to make the team this week is indeed Bruno Fernandes. Bruno is arguably the most frustrating player to own, and it's not really his fault. United as a whole looked terrible and got rightfully beat against Spurs. United's midfield of Bruno, Casemiro and Mount just doesn't seem to be working, and thus Bruno is becoming less and less appealing to own. Considering he's worth 8.5 million, a strong argument could be made to sell him this week. However, with Forest at home, I am tempted to keep him for one last dance. Up front we have our terrifying trio of Erling Haaland, Nicholas Jackson and Ollie Watkins. Unfortunately, Game Week 2 was not the best week for my attackers. Both Haaland and Jackson blanked, whilst Watkins is no longer on penalties. Whilst Ollie did get an assist for winning the penalty, it was a slight worry to not see him taking them. However, all that matters to me is that he can consistently get returns and thus prove his worth in the team. Those who went for Salah captain won the battle between him and Haaland. Game Week 2 was a lacklustre week for the Norwegian, but also not a shock given City's recent Super Cup win. Jackson is the attacker who I'm most excited to own over the next 5 game weeks as Chelsea play Luton, Forest, Bournemouth, Villa and Fulham. There's virtually no chance Jackson doesn't get at least 3 returns in those 5 fixtures. If you don't own him, I think you should look at bringing him in. Having examined the starting 11 for Game Week 3, we can now look at the bench. First on my bench for Game Week 3 is Chelsea's Mykhailo Mudryk. Mudryk yet again came off the bench in Game Week 2 and ultimately failed to impress. Whilst he does have talent, he needs to work on his end product. Mudryk may have to make way if things don't improve. Tottenham's Udogie and Burnley's Bayer are the 2 defenders on my bench. Udogie faces Bournemouth at home, whilst Bayer faces Villa. Not getting Udogie's 5 points last week was certainly frustrating, but it's good to know he's a reliable asset to call upon. An argument could even be made to start him this week, given how easy the fixture should be. Turner is currently the keeper on the bench, following a frustrating clean sheet wipe against Sheffield United. With United away in Game Week 3, I definitely won't be calling upon him this week. My current transfer plans for Game Week 3 is to either make 1 or 2 transfers. Players I'm considering taking out include Gabriel, Mudryk, Saka and Bruno, whilst players I'm looking at bringing in include Diaz, S2 and Mbeumo. Bruno to Diaz may be a move I make this week, although Forest at home is a great fixture for United. I'm pretty confident that Gabriel won't be in my team by the Game Week 3 deadline, but make sure to check out the deadline stream to see the final moves. There you have it, my Game Week 3 team for the 23-24 FPL season. In order to stay up to date with any changes that are made, make sure to follow me on Twitter at fplfatherted and also tune into the deadline stream, which will be live each week an hour before the deadline of the game week. I'd love to hear your thoughts on my team and what transfer moves you're making ahead of Game Week 3. If you found this video helpful, then smash that like button, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more FPL content. Thanks for watching and good luck this week.